Pop quiz for everyone. Okay, we're just going to start the day with a multiple choice question. All right, where do you put a map? Okay, where do you put a map? Seems like a fairly standard question, no, doesn't it? Do you put a map in a tube? Do you put a map on the floor, or do you put a map on the wall? Why are they so popular in fucking mainstream media, okay? Because we got a couple of instances from 2 different publications which have widespread reach, and they're filled with fucking pedos. Holy shit. Longtime CNN producer John Griffin hit with a second lawsuit after arrest for enticing young girls. Young cannot be underlined enough, okay? Underlined like his sentence. We talked about him before, okay, a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, the more and more evidence just keeps on piling up the longer this goes, and more people from CNN continue to get wrapped up in this, and it just doesn't stop, and neither does my stomach churning over and over. John Griffin, a longtime producer for CNN's New Day. Yes, it is. It's not that cool. He's a pedo. Fired in December over child trafficking allegation, has been hit with a $15 million civil lawsuit filed on behalf of a 9-year-old. A little bit older than what he's normally used to. 7-year-olds is normally his specialty. Ugh. The lawsuit filed in Bridgeport last week on behalf of a 9-year-old Jane Doe, that's not her name, by the way, and custodial next best friend, Janet Doe, again, alleges despicable acts of horrific sexual abuse and exploitation. Why isn't exploitation in scare quotes? You could have added an adjective to that. For several years prior to 2020, the defendants solicited young girls, including the minor plaintiff, for the purpose of knowingly persuading, inducing, enticing, and coercing them to engage in sexual activity, sexual exploitation. They're 9 years old, by the way, and or sexual trafficking. The lawsuit alleges. Griffin, fired last month from the network, finally, is alleged to have pressured parents to bring their daughters to a home he acquired in Vermont. Like Epstein, this motherfucker has a ranch to groom kids that are single digits in age. There isn't a gas chamber big enough. He faces 1 trafficking charge and 2 counts of attempted trafficking in federal court in the state. So we got a civil case and we got a criminal case here. The pressure worked in one case, according to the charging documents filed in Vermont and Nevada. Yeah, we talked about this before, but just for a refresher, okay? Griffin allegedly convinced the mother to fly with her daughter from the latter state, and they spent time together at the Vermont home. Griffin and the woman are accused of engaging in sexual acts with the girl, 9. He faces up to life in prison if convicted on a single count. Thank God. The civil lawsuit filed last week similarly alleges that between April and July of 2020, Griffin invited 3 women and their underage daughters over for the purposes of sexual training. Ugh. The suit seeks up to $15 million in damages and fees. No, trust me, the damage has already been done. It alleges that Griffin took drone footage of a completely naked 9-year-old girl. Why do you need a drone? Oh, God. Standing beside him while he was wearing his underwear. I don't think you need $15 million for a rope and a stool. When confronted with the video during the interview by FBI agents, Griffin's first response was merely to suggest he was not looking at the naked girl. Oh, my God. What a defense. Oh, no, I wasn't looking at her. We were just taking really weird, provocative pictures with a fucking drone while he was in his tighty whities. Despite that, she was standing so close to him to be touching, the prosecutor's pretrial detention memo states. He was arrested on December 10th without prompting. Griffin told authorities, oh, okay, cool, he was going to try to talk his way out of it. Because I work for a communications network. I've got a good verbal skills. Without incriminating myself, I just want to let you guys know that I'm ashamed you even know my name at all. Why? Because you work for CNN? That sucks. In the time I'm with you guys, in the event that I do anything inappropriate, I just want you to know that I feel the same way if you guys were in, if I were in your situation. Thank you. Trust me, dude. Pedophiles don't get sympathy. But that's not the only pedo at CNN, by the way. A long-term producer for Jake Tapper. You know, old squarehead himself. Well, it's more of a rectangle, but, you know, 4 right angles. Jake Tapper silent as child exploitation squad investigates former producer. Yep. CNN just loaded to the rafters with sexual abusers and pedophiles. CNN anchor Jake Tapper has issued no formal statement after it was revealed police are now investigating his former producer for crimes involving juvenile victims. What are you trying to say there? Can't you just cut to the chase? Point to the map as to where you'd like to investigate. Oh, right at the end of the barrel? I get it. Earlier in December, Project Veritas released audio and text messages allegedly from Rick Saleeby, a former senior producer for CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper. We know where he was going, I guess. Showing him fantasizing about sex acts with the former fiance's underage daughter. On Tuesday, Fairfax County Police confirmed that Saleeby is being investigated by the Child Exploitation Squad. Fairfax County Police Department has launched an investigation into serious allegations involving potential juvenile victims. Detectives assigned to the Child Exploitation Squad of the Major Crimes Bureau are leading the investigation. While we will eventually be transparent about our findings, safeguarding the personal privacy and the safety of victims and witnesses, as well as maintaining the integrity of our criminal investigation, are of paramount importance. Yeah, and to the people that, what, the feds are looking at this? Oh, no, Fairfax County Police Department. The fact that there is somebody that has to constantly go over one individual specifically, I don't know who it is. I'm just saying the person who has to review all of this material, that should be a crime in and of itself. Not specifically that's that person's job. It's just there's now the capabilities of different algorithms to go through this indefensible stuff that's out there, okay? Because there's nothing that anybody could say when it comes to pedophiles, maps, whatever the fuck you want to call them, just the most heinous scum on earth. There's no way that my mind can be changed on this. You did this stuff, you pay the consequences, and I can give you any buffets of different things that you can take in order to receive justice for what you did. Whether you want a glass of arsenic, anthrax, or maybe you want a dinner roll in a 40 or a 45 caliber, hey, it's totally up to you. But there's no excuse for this. It's just weird how these types of people continue to come up in mainstream media. Just fucking weird, huh? The department did not give any further information, and Saleeby declined to comment. No shit, though a CNN spokesman confirmed Saleeby resigned from his position weeks ago. He has to spend more time with his stepdaughter, or maybe that's the reason why he has a former fiance. Tapper has issued no statement about the investigation into his former producer. No, we didn't work that closely together. No, couldn't possibly be. John Nolte of Breitbart News pointed out in 2019, Tapper had also avoided questions about the former CNN supervising producer. Steve Brusk was accused by Project Veritas of alleged sexual misconduct. Oh god, is this more map shit? Look at that! All of a sudden, the self-proclaimed captain of chivalry, the male feminist of all male feminists, the Mr. Squeaky Clean, Mr. Ethics, Mr. Virtue, Mr. Fox News is a cesspool of rape. All of a sudden, when he has skin in the game, when believe all women becomes inconvenient to the status and income, he runs away like a sleazy politician, like a company man, just like another white cisgendered member of the CNN's patriarchy. Yeah, throw all of those words right back at him. So yeah, we'll see where that investigation goes, and that puts a nice tidy bow on CNN. Thankfully, unfortunately, however you want to put it, but we got this article that was recently published by USA Today, of all places, and I constantly bring up a Salon or Slate article. It's one of those two, and I'm sure they probably both read the same, or wrote the same ideas anyways, but they've been trying to normalize pedophilia forever. It's the next frontier for these fucking weirdos, and this is where you draw a line in the sand. You don't go any further than this. Let's read a little bit of this fucking disaster. Pedophilia is viewed as among the most horrifying social ills. Can we stop there? That would be great. But scientists who study the sexual disorder says it is among the most misunderstood. Nope. And remember, this is the USA Today, okay? This is not Brian's basement blog, okay? This isn't from the thoughts and the diary of Joe Biden. This is a legitimate, high-profile news outlet that's posting this fucking insanity. When most of the public thinks of pedophilia, they'd assume it's synonymous with child sexual abuse. It is. It is. There's no other way to put it. a pervasive social problem that is exploited to crisis levels online. No, in real life as well. If you do anything about the southern border, you'd see the constant amount of pedophilia and underage sex trafficking that happens. But you don't want to talk about that. You just want to talk about these perceived misunderstandings. Researchers who study pedophilia should also be put on the wall. Say the term describes an attraction, not an action. Oh, okay, cool. And using it interchangeably with abuse fuels misperceptions. This is how this normalization shit always goes. No. It isn't that thing that you know it is. It's something totally different. It's not actually causing anybody harm, okay? It's not like we don't have all of these bad actors in every single institution normalizing this nonsense. They're not saying you should go out there and assault children. We're just saying that it's normal if you feel that way. Well, likewise, it's normal if I feel like I just have too much damn ammunition and I need a way to get rid of it. The American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistics Manual of Mental Disorders said pedophilia is defined by recurrent, intense, sexually arousing fantasies, sexual urges, or behaviors involving sexual activity with a prepubescent child or children. Why do you think it would just stop at these urges, okay? It's not like it's well documented that people don't act on urges. Just saying. Scientists have in recent decades improved their understanding of pedophilia's causes, prenatal and early childhood risk factors, as well as how pedophilias can better control impulses. Remember, this is the USA Today. One of the most significant findings is that scientists who study the disorders say pedophilia is determined in the womb. So is there like a gene that we could find out? Okay. Is there a gene that can be early detected, and then once that gets found out, you can just fire up the old Hoover in the corner of the doctor's office? So environmental factors may influence whether someone acts on the urge or to abuse. Yes, you know what? Hey, you know what? Pedophiles, they aren't bad people. They're just born that way. Where have we heard this before? Evidence suggests it's inborn. No, it's inbred. It's neurological, said James Cantor, a clinical psychologist, sex researcher, and former editor-in-chief of Sexual Abuse, a journal of research and treatment. Pedophile is an attraction to children regardless of whether the person ever harms. What is, okay, also, if you're doing all of this research, what is the rate that people, you know what, admit to these strong sexual urges and the amount of people that act on them? Why don't we have that data? Oh, it's probably inconvenient to your narrative. Not all people who sexually abuse children are pedophiles. No, but they all deserve the same fate. Some pedophiles never abuse children. Some. Right. Experts say, and some people who sexually abuse children are not sexually, do not sexually prefer them, but what, they're the most easily accessible things around? What the fuck is wrong with you people? That's like saying, oh yeah, no, I normally like to fuck my wife, but you know what, if she's out of town, the dog will do. What the fuck is wrong with you? They may be disinhibited and antisocial with impulse control problems. So again, you're not really painting a terribly, sympathetic light to these mentally fucked people. I hate this. I hate this so much. But I'm not going to read all of this. Oh, of course. But I seen something there. And of course, God, I hate this fucking country. Michael Seto, forensic research director at the Royal Ottawa Healthcare Group in Canada. You know what else is in Ottawa? House of Commons, the Prime Minister, all of the elected federal officials. It's just weird how these people continue to run in the same circles. Said there is more neuroscientific knowledge of pedophilia than ever before. Yeah, because it's very, very easy to find because mostly it's splattered against the wall. MRI research is showing how sexual interests develop in the brain. Hopefully easier outside of the brain. We're just going to read a little bit of this because this is where they're going next. This is where they're going next. The controversy over destigmatizing pedophilia. This is what they want. Society is fucked. Like the 9-year-old child of this author, perhaps. An academic at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, who talked about destigmatizing pedophilia and referred to as pedophiles as minor attracted people. MAPS. You get the dalliance at the beginning. Resigned in November following an outcry over the phrase. Alan Walker, hey, we did a couple of videos on that. Argued destigmatizing the attraction would allow more people to seek help and ultimately prevent a child sexual abuse. Now, if you feel like that, you go to a mental health care provider, okay? It should be properly stigmatized, okay? Drop that fucking DE. It should be stigmatized. There's nothing redeeming about feeling like that. That's why you go and get help and stop feeling like that. Otherwise, if you can't find a mental health care provider that would help you out with that, go find the tallest bridge or the tallest building and fucking seek help off the ledge. There's growing support in the field of Walker's point of view. Oh, really? From the USA Today and CNN, I'd imagine. Well, Cantor said there is no treatment that can turn a pedophile into a non-pedophile. Oh, I can think of a few different ways. Pedophiles can be taught self-control and compensatory strategies. I don't want to think of those, but they probably involve something small. Which he said is more likely they're under the care of a professional. Yeah, most of them are correctional officers. He argues that pedophiles need to be able to access therapy. Yup. Which can be difficult since those affected may be ashamed, don't care, to seek help, or worried about reported to authorities if they do. Well, theoretically, if you haven't done anything wrong, you just feel like that, okay? There are a lot of people who are fucking missing a couple of screws up there, but if they don't do anything wrong, you seek help for it. And if it doesn't work and you end up offending, there are laws for that. But you don't want to accept reality, you just want to continue to move on to more sexual fucking depravity. And if you've been following this stuff for long enough, which regrettably I have been because I've seen it coming on the horizon, mostly because it's very easy to spot a pedophile because their hairline starts somewhere around their fucking earlobe and they have adequate shine off of their bald head with their hunched posture as they're all piled into the back of a 1987 Dodge panel van. But in the last line of this piece of propaganda, offending is devastating. It damages the lives of victims. It has damaged your life. You can learn to control yourself. You have the capacity to do better. Yeah, do better. If the weight of being a pedophile is too much, consider transitioning that weight that is on your shoulder to perhaps the end of a rope. But yeah, we got more political topics and one really something funny to end the day because, God, I hate this shit. I hate it so much, but it needs to be talked about. It needs to be put on blast because places like CNN and USA Today need to be front and center with this fucking nonsense. Nonsense. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.